You rarely think about this, but digestion doesn't happen in isolation. Just like in this nesting doll here, your digestive system is nested within the container of your body. So, for simplicity's sake, if you imagine that this top part is your torso, including your rib cage, and this bottom part is your pelvis and down continues into your legs, we have a little bit more complex anatomy than a nesting doll. What happens is digestion happens in the way that the upper body, the torso, and the lower body, the pelvis, come together. So anything that happens within the skeletal structure, the muscular structure, and the orientation of the rib cage over the pelvis is going to affect how digestion happens. Large movements that we do throughout the day, such as walking, include both rotation of the pelvis and the rib cage relative to each other, a rotation movement in the spine, as well as the side-to-side movements and forward and back movements. For those of you who are more movement savvy, you can think of the three planes: the transverse plane, the frontal plane, and the sagittal plane, where these interactions happen. But oftentimes, because of our seated posture or because of certain mechanisms of movement, certain habits of movement that we have adapted to, we move a certain way. So perhaps maybe you rotate a little bit more to one side but not the other. Maybe your rib cage stays in a particular position. If you look from the side, it's a little bit more open. Your ribs open more in the front, what we know as rib flare. So every time you inhale and exhale, you don't really get this full expansion that you're supposed to. Or maybe the way you sit kind of tilts your pelvis in a weird way. And so now everything that's in this container, everything that's enclosed between the rib cage and the pelvis becomes affected. So think about your stomach, your pancreas, your duodenum, your liver. They all have to fit in here, right? But they are smushed or twisted or pulled, and you can go to a lovely physical therapist or manual therapist, people who do, for example, myo-abdominal massage, or who do visceral manipulation and other techniques, who will help these organs come back in place. But what happens when then you go back to your old movement habits and you continue to torque, right, and move and twist where your organs don't really need that? So how about you come with me and we try these three simple practices that are going to allow you to bring the ribcage and the pelvis back into alignment, that are going to help you house your digestive system in a much more functional space. Let's dive in.